It's like if you take rap, for instance, people go on about all these things about how certain rap groups are bad, but I actually find rap music is the most literate music I've heard for years,
Yeah, we are the fallen, we are the best. Yeah, we are the fallen, we are the best. Yeah, we are the fallen, we are the best. Yeah, we are the fallen, we are the best.
Okay. Let's tune in to Mr. Peel. Let's tune in and drop out.
Here we go.
Tonight we have another set from the fall.
I still can't believe they haven't, like, you can't find I want just like the full show.
There is a John. I remember back when I first found out about John Peel, I know that there was a website that had. We'll throw the link to John Peel archive.org. Is I don't know. This is a big collection of John Peel shows, so that's pretty cool. It goes 1967 through 1986. That's fucking damn. That's almost 20 years, and that's not even all that he was gone, because there's some on here that say 1995. So this is not
Not exclusive.
no, unless someone's updating it with extras. Well, either way, that's pretty cool for future reference and enjoyment. What do we got today, Steve-O?
BBC One Radio, John Peel. This is fall session number 8, recorded May 14th, 1985. Broadcast June 3rd, 1985. We've got 4 tracks. We have Cruiser's Creek, Couldn't Get Ahead, Spoilt Victorian Child, and Gut of the Quantifier.
We're going to do this session, and we're going to do the next one that they do 1985. So this is a nice way to welcome us into 1985, where we get an LP, we get a bunch of, let's just say a handful of singles that are interesting and cool. But as always, you really get the most intriguing stuff in these Peel sessions. And the first one, like you said, Steve, session 8 has a lot of what we're going to be hearing on the LP that's going to be coming out this year. The second session, session number 9, that was done in September 1985, has a couple tracks we know at that point, but then it has some freaking weirdo stuff going on. Do you like either of these more? Not to ruin your rating, not to ruin your selection at the end. Do you have any preference between these two, or you like to take them together?
I mean, they're so close together. I think I'd go with number 1.
Yeah, why do you like this one?
I think I like the songs more. LA Can Take It or Leave It sometimes. I don't know if I would have picked that to play. Probably my biggest driver there.
I think we should just start the setup, and we can be listening as we go. Let's enjoy it together. Let's tune into John Peel, and let's start with Cruiser's Creek.
What really went on there? We only have this excerpt.
We have Marky Smith, Brick Smith, Craig Scanlon on guitar, Steve Hanley on the bass, Simon Rogers on guitar and keyboards, and Carl Burns rounding it out on the drums.
There's a helicopter flying over me as the song started, and it kind of fits.
That's session 9 then.
But
Oh, there's an actual helicopter.
no, there's actually a helicopter at the start of Cruisers Creek. It is flying over me. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of fun. It's kind of like the cops are going to check out what's happening at Cruisers Creek. A little spotlight, the military state. Just going to check out what are those guys doing down there.
I thought you kicked off on LA. That's got a lot of helicopters
that would be more fitting. You're right. That'd be way more fitting. The news choppers. We were talking about the Slate's live this year release, and it's so hard to pick fall live bootlegs out when you consider how good all of the Peel sessions sound. And I know there's not an audience per se, but the band sounds so live. It sounds so good. It's hard to be like, I'm going to take a kind of crappy recording of them in a club just because there's a bunch of people there, when they're basically doing the exact same thing and nailing it, and the recording engineers are making it sound fucking great. Even on these two sets are so enjoyable because you can hear everything. You can hear all the band members.
And they're probably playing harder for these sets, and they're probably in a better state of mind to some degree. I would imagine, like, okay, maybe we take it easy before the official Peel session recording.
Yeah, earlier in the day, right?
Just get to equilibrium and call it a day. You don't need to. I wonder if there was a green room set up for them. They had their rider full of green M&Ms only, and
I gotta say,
Hanley Brothers pasties made in the shop.
Because they probably didn't get paid. It's BBC Radio. They probably didn't get paid for the session, right? And it's maybe they did, but it's free publicity. So it's kind of like. The reason why
I can't imagine they got paid.
I can't imagine either.
You're not getting paid to go to any other studio, even today. Like,
radio show. No. You're doing it for your own publicity. That's why you hear about all those comedians that have to do all the morning shows to try to be like, hey, I'm playing at the Funny Bone. I'm doing a set at the Funny Bone tonight. Come on out. Like you have to be working the road to try to get that.
Maybe you get a bonus from the label or something.
Just to be invited, it sounded like in Brick Smith's book, she says every time that they got invited to do a session at BBC Studios for John Peel, it was like an honor. And even when she was asked for her other band, the Adult Net, to do a session, she said, I was so excited to do it. It was before they had played live anywhere. They recorded some singles. And she said, I was so excited to be invited to record a session. And it wasn't even for John Peel, I don't think. It was for another radio show. And she was just pumped. She was psyched. She said, I get to play with my band, and it's basically a live show because you're recording right to tape and trying to capture that. Not doing too many overdubs.
I did just see a Instagram post. I don't know anything about the ability, and I don't remember who the guy was, but he basically was like, how to get played on BBC One. Send him an email. Make up your CV. And he basically said, here's my new album. He's like, here's my new album. Would you mind playing it? I've been on tour with like 2 big name bands. And then he followed up and they played him on multiple different BBC One shows. And they're like, here's John Smith. And he's toured with so-and-so.
Kings of Leon.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 bands that he typed in the email, they were announcing how that he toured with them, and then they played his song.
Oh, man. That's cool. That just shows that people are so fucking lazy in that industry in general. And it shows how fucking wild John Peel was. You know, how much of an outlier he was.
a
actually
curated
listening.
masterpiece, right? Like he's
Yeah.
not putting anything. He's listening to it all. He's
No.
picking only what he approves of.
Yeah. You could tell him you open for the Kinks. It doesn't really matter. He's still going to listen to it and be like, it's not really for me. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
really for my show, even though that, he has some big name in front of, on their letter. Also, I don't know. He probably didn't even read the notes that came with it. He doesn't have time. He's just listening. Give me the cassette.
Yeah, I mean,
What-
he's probably got what he throws the garbage in the back seat, and he throws the
Yeah.
good cassette on the floor next to
Yeah.
him.
Make
Okay.
sure he just looks at it one time to make sure it has a label of the band, because once you lose that, you're kind of like, oh no.
Maybe he just throws it right out the window. The garbage just leaves the car. There's only quality.
If and when they make a biopic of him, that should be definitely a scene or a reoccurring scene. Him driving down a road and just tossing cassettes out the window and
Who are you picking? What actor are you having play John?
Oh, that's a fucking great question. Man, that's a good question. Let's see. Young John. I'm picking. See, it's gonna be unfair. It's gonna be biased because I'm gonna pick American actors, even though it should definitely be a British actor. I'm just not as familiar with the British actor. No, I'm gonna pick who's the guy that had the late night show?
Which guy? There's a bunch of them. The one from the Drew Carey show.
Know who I'm gonna pick? James Corden. No, I'm fucking joking. I'm not picking James Corden for anything. Definitely not. Know who I think could do a good job would be, I think he'd be a little too over the top, but Jack Black.
Yeah.
He's kind of got somewhat of a build. He's kind of a little bit bigger than John Peel, but I could see him as he's also a rock and roll dude, so I can see him doing that well. Ooh, if John Malkovich could put on some weight, that would be kind of cool. John Malkovich, let's go. I'll take John Malkovich for anything though.
Yeah, and you ask the question, and then
As we listen
you're gonna get it.
As we listen to Spoiled Victorian Child, I want you to think about who you're gonna pick. And you can't say Michael Caine. Young Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
We de-age Anthony Hopkins.
Or
Ooh.
D.H. Sean Connery. Is he alive?
De-age Sean Connery? No, I don't think he is alive. No, he's not. Oh, no, it would be great. The return of Daniel Day-Lewis. I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis would put on he would put on the body, the figure,
I feel like he's just too tall, though. I think he's.
Oh, you could do the movie magic with that, though. You could do the movie. He's a little bit too old, but he could probably play that. Jason Statham. I'm just kind of going off of the.
Yeah, but
the hair.
Jude Law maybe could do it.
Oh, Jude Law. Okay, Jude Law. That'd be good. Jude Law, or is he canceled? I mean, that's Ewan McGregor.
You might need to get us somebody who's going to be canceled, because I don't think John Peel would have made it through.
Oh, there's a guy named Bob Hoskins. You look up this guy, Bob Hoskins. And this guy is, unfortunately he passed away in 2014. But Bob Hoskins
I like
has the look. Okay, I think we nailed it. Bob Hoskins is coming back for the role of John Peel. Oh yeah. Or you could make this movie kind of like that one Bob Dylan movie where everyone was just playing Bob Dylan, and get Tilda Swinton to play John Peel for one of the scenes. We got to throw, we got to throw a female actress in there. Judi Dench could play someone in the BBC. Easy. Simple. She could play anyone. She could play his mom. I don't know how often his mom's gonna show up in a biopic.
In a biopic.
Or just when he's born. It's like Judi Dench current age when she giving birth to John Peel. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we nailed it. That's a good question. I think we nailed it. Spoiled Victorian Child is fucking great with this version, this long version.
It is. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with like 10 words.
Yeah. But yeah, 10 words and then 3 good words. Oh. And this is one of the Brick style songs that I'm like, it's that riff. It's definitely not a Craig riff. It's definitely a surf 3-note.
It's stolen from some other.
And before this, you had Couldn't Get Ahead, which is a nice little kind of couple minute bounce along. And then we're gonna head right into the gut of the quantifier.
I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you this, life could be one, downward, onward, chip.
Which is pretty cool. I don't think that was put out anywhere, maybe on a CD later.
Gut of the Quantifier was on Perverted by Language, correct?
May have been on the expanded. Oh, it was on This Nation Saving Grace.
It was on This Nation Saving Grace.
Yeah.
Gut of the Quantifier.
Yeah.
1985 album. So we get a little preview of the new fall, which is cool. And this is around the era. I don't think he started using his megaphone yet, but we're gonna get into the I think in 1986 Mark purchases the megaphone that is used by police officials to direct traffic and things, and Brick says it was a fucking annoying, it was the most annoying thing that he probably could have purchased and been obsessed with, because he would like blast the siren right next to people's heads, and then he would just like be chuckling. Oh man, I would be so pissed off. I would be like, you're a fucking that's not a joke.
Oh yeah,
my hearing's already gone.
You could not. Yeah, you couldn't give that toy to a man-child.
No, you get some of that on this track, where they blew out his vocals on some of the, and it works. But doing it all like that, or if he's on stage blaring that into the microphone, you don't fucking need that. I don't need that. Even bands today are doing that with the mini megaphone as like a texture, and I don't need that either.
Yeah, unless you're playing like a outside festival or something where you're trying to make it loud, something different.
Yeah. You really don't need that megaphone action. That's not as adding any musicality that's interesting. The hand muffling of the microphone is much better. It's much more musical. You almost play it like a French horn, putting your hand in there. This is a good song to end on too for the set. A little preview.
Yeah, I mean that's the best thing about the Peel sessions, right? Is the hot unheard things that you're not going to get anywhere else versus.
Yeah, and hear how put together it is, and just know that they've got it. It's coming to you soon. A couple months. Man.
I mean, they're probably already playing it live, right?
Mm-hmm. That's where they're honing it in live. That's what I think we talked about it before too, but to witness a fall sound check would be cool. See what they're working on. You know, you're the bar back, you're the bartender, you're just kind of getting ready for the show. They're doing their sound check. You're hearing some real fresh stuff. You're seeing them work on it. That would be heavenly. See a little dynamic between the band.
Yeah, seeing who's showing up, who's doing what.
Mm-hmm. Who's setting stuff up, who's not setting anything up. They did seem professional in that way, though. It seemed like, besides Carl, they were all taking care of their stuff. Make sure it's all at least functioning. Okay, so that was Peel Session 8. And I say let's just ride back in. Let's just tune in this transistor. Let's make sure we got the dial set to prime position for...
Set it to the future.
Yep, set it to the future. And let's rip right into LA, Peel Session 9.
All those that mind entitle themselves shall feel the wrath of my bombast, and Lloyd Cole's brain and face is made out of cow pats. We all know that. Herewith is an instrumental track.
It is cool on both of these Peel sessions that he has a little introduction speech.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is it's honestly like what you miss on the live, the other live ones. I'm like, I want the uniqueness. I want the special.
I want him to be like, pick up your drinks, come up to the stage. I mean, it's already probably packed up front, but get ready for this. And he calls this one an instrumental track. He's like, get ready for an instrumental track, when it does have words. It does have letters, actually, I should say. It has letters. And it does.
This one is. It's got an earworm hook to there's too many moans. Like, you can't get them out of your head.
And this one has more notes within the guitar riff, which I think is necessary for the fall, so that it's kind of circular instead of just 3 notes that are just repeated. It's not kind of a repetitive rhythm. And the perfect amount of reverb put on Mark's voice. Sounds like he's in the room. Sounds like he's in the studio. Yeah, they were always nailing the production.
Yeah, I mean, they nail it all. I mean, it's honestly, a lot of times these are better than the actual albums.
I wonder if they could have put this version on the album, or if it was BBC kind of owned, even though it's the band's, song, because
I don't know. I mean, if they don't pay for it, I doubt they own it. I don't know.
So Peel show is on at 10 p.m. on weeknights, and a lot of the bands credit their success to being played on his show. Makes sense. Reach the wide audience, even if you don't have the label. Maybe get a label.
Yeah, just even having the nod from John Peel probably gets you an in to getting a label, or to somebody picking up your CD and actually putting it on, or your cassette, whatever, right? Like, oh, John Peel liked it enough to bring him in. Like, yeah, I'll give him a go.
Definitely. there's got to be so many label people back then that were just listening to Peel's show just for fun, their own entertainment, and then they would hear a band and be like, huh, you know, he's just heard that. And John Peel saying, I just got this cassette, I got this single or whatever, that self-pressed single. And then those people being like, oh, I'm going to go see the show when they're playing in my town, and I'm going to talk to them and see if they want to do something. It's kind of the opposite of the way that it works now, which is like you have to have a label to get on the radio. And now we're going into the man whose head expanded.
Do you like the speed of this one? Seems
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm actually looking forward to hearing Steve Albini's take. At the time of this recording, this new Shellac album is not out yet, and there is going to be a version of The Man Whose Head Expanded on that album, and I want to hear how Steve Albini and the boys interpret this one, because just like The Fall, they have a very unique approach and sound. Hell, they got a unique approach for everything. Steve Albini wears a guitar strap as a belt. You know, he doesn't even wear a guitar strap a traditional way. Oh, he's also got this wild guitar cabinet that's custom made, and it looks like something that you would find in a kind of DIY basement club, you know, sound system that he's using as his guitar amp. Like there's a big ass speaker, I think maybe like 15-inch, maybe bigger speaker. Like he's all about that. But he's all about that big sound. But then I think he only has like 2 pedals, guitar pedals, which is great too. And one of them is something that is like very highly sought after, that he just buys them up. Or he bought them up back in when he first got into this one sound, this one overdrive distortion sound. And yeah, he just he's a very particular guy, and he's a very technical guy, obviously, as a recording engineer. And as much as he says, you know, he doesn't want his sound, he doesn't want his fingerprints on the sound of whatever band he's recording, it's automatically there. Just the way he does things, it's automatically so, you know, present. That's the only way I can describe his recordings. Highly present, big, sometimes almost a little too clean for my liking, but the bands that go into electrical audio in Chicago, they go there for that. And if you're paying for Steve Albini for your producer, I think he keeps his rates still extremely reasonable, which is so fun. It's very much the work ethic, workman's, you know, he wants to be accessible to the up and coming bands just as much as the band that'll pay him for, you know, going for a gold record or whatever, going for the streams.
What direction do you think he would have taken The Fall in if he had an album?
That's so good. I think you got to do it the same way John Leckie did it, which is go straight. He only records, I mostly records just to tape, and that's his bread and butter, because he can slice that tape up however you want. But go direct to tape, go Steve Albini style, hyper pristine. But then, I don't know, I think he's just gonna make them sound big. You know, everything big, everything in your face. Maybe get it so there's multiple guitar tones across the record, His album he did with the Pixies, the albums he did with the Pixies, the guitar tones on that are just so diverse and so varied, and they just use like weird little amps and then combinations of amps in hallways that just to get different sounds for every track. And I would hope that he would kind of get them to do that and not just set up their stuff and keep it in one place, but maybe just switch some things up, reamp some things through weird things that they've never used before. I would hope that would be a little bit different in that regard.
If they would play ball with him.
Yeah. If they would ask him, to be honest, because he's not a guy that will throw it out there unless the band is asking for an
For him.
idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it depends on what time period Mark was in. I think the rest of the band would have been totally down for anything. They always seemed like they're interested in doing something.
Yeah, I mean
different.
his electric audios, I think started in 1995.
And there's a great video for the fall heads out there that are into Steve Albini or just into recording. There is a fucking awesome video, I think still on YouTube, of Steve Albini, super young, in his house that he lived in Chicago with a bunch of his friends and bandmates, and he outfitted this basement and actually the rest of the house too, as a DIY recording space. And he's giving a tour on this VHS camera. Someone is recording it, and he's doing a tour of what all of the installations that he did to make it soundproof, putting in a double door that went out to the hallway or even out to the alleyway. I'm not really sure. And all the sound paneling he put on both sides. And it's so DIY, but he's explaining it so technically and so technically sound about all the considerations, where it looks so DIY. It looks like he went to, Home Depot and got all these things. He didn't buy any of it, and he put it together so that it's like a good functioning studio. And he recorded all his friends' bands in there, and he had like cables running up to like one of the bedrooms that was the sound booth control room, and it's really cool. I really highly recommend it. I'll put the link on our Patreon. You guys can we can watch it on there because it's really cool. I appreciate him as a sound savant. He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when they moved into his own studio, just because it was his entire house with his wife, and besides the bedroom, it was all recording.
Yeah. And he's a man of, very particular hobbies. Like, he likes to cook. When he's done working, he has almost like a setup of like a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6 or whatever he does setup, where he works his hours and then he's done and he goes home, and then he's not doing long sessions just to do them, and he's going home and he's cooking and he's playing poker, or he's doing the things he loves to do.
He's got 2 gold bracelets for World Series of Poker.
Yeah, he's a champion. And that's also cool too, because I heard him say one time he has like backers that will back him the buy-in, because the buy-in for those is, I know it's probably more now, but back then it was like still like $5,000 to get in the World Series, just to get into it. So he'd have backers that would front some of the cash, and then he would pay them out. If he won, if he got halfway through the tournament and got paid out, he would pay him out the percentage, which is cool too. It's like even outside of the studio realm, he's very much what's fair is fair.
Yeah, and a socially engaged, like just a man of the community almost, right?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
we're all doing it together. Let's have some fun.
And he does his yearly Letters to Santa fundraiser, where he does a 24-hour, almost like a telethon, and it's based in this comedy club in Chicago, and it's a bunch of comedians and also musicians that do sets and do little songs, and it's 24 hours long, and they try to raise as much money as possible, and the money goes directly towards families that can't afford to buy gifts for their family, and they just give them the cash, which is great. They're not going to buy toys, they're not going to buy things, but they're just giving families that are in need straight cash to make their lives in the short term better, but hopefully it makes an imprint so that they're able to, get on their feet and back into a comfortable state, or into a comfortable state for the first time. So it's cool. I really like it. His perspective on everything is pretty. I can get aligned with. Also, it's cool. He wears those jumpsuits to work. His uniform.
Yeah.
I like a uniform. It's like it's such a workman's idea. When I put on my uniform, I'm going to work. When I take it off, I'm done. It's nice. That's one thing the fall never had, though.
No, you think with Mark's desire for somewhat uniformity.
Right. Even like a one-off show where they did it, like a Halloween show, that would be something. I wonder if there's any fall heads out there that know if they played a Halloween show where they did any sort of
costumes,
anything that was related to the event. Because I think if there's going to be one holiday Mark gets fined, it's probably the Freaky Halloween, which is supernatural. He's got to be getting it. And as we wrap it up, we get Faust Banana.
Faust Banana. Banana. Yeah.
I just like his delivery of the words when he's got that whispered.
I'd like to see if a list of all the different doctors he mentions in all of the different songs.
I think we'll need to get into that. Because we got Dr. Fausto coming up. And I like Dr. Fausto. Yeah, a list of all the doctors. That would be great. All right, let's go. Annotated fall. List of the doctor tracks. That would be a great playlist. And then the playlist could be, or the compilation could be called Prescribed by Dr. Mark E. Smith. Your prescription. Mark's prescription pad. Briggs also said she hated shouting banana and exotic fruits or whatever she said.
She hated it?
Yeah, she said, she's like, I cringe. She basically said she cringes when she thinks about that. She did not like singing that. Mark told her to, or asked her to do it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't see it. I don't think it's like a gimmicky or anything.
I mean, there was the whole song where all they did was just spell out bananas. So
yeah, we'll get deep into that one. And then he gets his megaphone out for the end. I really like in this song when they're not playing the riff and they're playing the actual chords. And you get that little xylophone. You hear that little dunk dunk dunk?
Yeah.
Know what it sounds like though? It sounds like the little hand flicking keys that you would have on a, I don't know the name of the instrument, but so you play with your hand, you just flick these little metal pieces, or sometimes they're wooden.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds wooden to me.
It does.
Sounds like wooden and hollow.
It does. Oh, maybe it is a wooden xylophone because they're rolling on it.
Yeah, they're going to town now.
I always just assumed it was regular. See, that's what I love when the fall throws in the weird instrument. Even the kazoo, whatever.
I mean, now you got Simon Rogers, the professional musician. He can play anything.
Yes. Gotta love it. Wooden xylophone, yeah, it's gotta be something like that. That's also something I'm highly curious about is how many instruments did the BBC studio have available? Grand piano, whatever.
Yeah, do you think you get to just like walk around the studio and be like, yeah, pull that one in and we want that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely need that instrument. I definitely know what it is and how to play it, so we want that.
We want that. And then I don't know how to play that. Get that out. They gotta have some stuff like that. Because you're not gonna bring it in. Even like big old timpani, a big old timpani, couple of those in there.
Canon.
Yeah. They're not just having rock bands coming in, they're having orchestras come in there sometimes. Well, that was that was fun. It's always fun to tune into Mr. Peel, get a little fresh take and a little bit of just a recent throwback going on there. What do you got for what's you picked one at the beginning, but you sticking with it? Your session takeaway?
Hmm.
Let's give him some pints. Actually, let's give him some pints.
Yeah, we'll give him that. Yeah, I'll give him a pint. I'll go 8. One per track. If I recorded this on the cassette, I would definitely want it on the A and the B side, all 8 tracks. Just let it roll. I don't know if I
Ooh,
could pick one over the other.
I completely agree. They go together very well. They're not my favorite fall tracks, but as usual, because they are sounding so great.
I think they're sounding unique as well. Like they're
Mm,
not straightforward.
hmm
They're from what's on the album. I like that for sure.
yes, I agree too. I'm gonna go for both of them. I'm gonna go 6 pints, and I'm gonna be very much because of these tracks looking forward to the new album, "This Nation Saving Grace," coming out very soon in 1985. And I'm also going to be looking forward to those singles. We got to hear Cruisers Creek, and we know we get to get into a little bit of a special type of single in 1985 that is a little bit of an expanded experience in that regard. So I'm really psyched. I'm giving it 6 pints. I'm enjoying it. I'm tuning in next week. Maybe I'll tune in tomorrow to peel again. But yeah, great time.
John Peel in the fall have done it again.
And we look forward to that John Peel biopic that should be coming out any year now.
I was thinking we could go Scottish and maybe if you want to pull Ewan McGregor in to do it. I think he looks like a good John
Ewan
Peel.
McGregor is getting to the right age for that.
Exactly.
He does have the eyes, I think. Like he's got kind of the steely eyes that could pull it off.
He's got the long hair. It'll be tough to play him young, but
And I'm also going to be looking forward to in that film the Texas years of John Peel. Or that short time, that short experience, working in the cotton industry in Dallas. I'm gonna be very intrigued as far as what exactly was going on there. If
and
he
I
was just
think
drinking a
it,
bunch of beers in Dallas.
I think if anything for those years, why get an actor at all, then they can just have you do it.
Oh, I would love to do it. I would love to do it.
I think
I
you
would love to
could you
play.
could pull a good young John Peel going
I know
around.
I like that. I know how to work a cassette deck pretty good. I could do it. And I wouldn't need too much craft services catering. I don't need Michelin star style. I just need, all the basics you need, little snacks, little kind of brisket, a couple bags of chips and a couple pints and we're good to roll.
Egg salad sandwiches
Yep.
for the back seat. Let them sit there all afternoon.
Fucking in 110-degree heat. Get one of those out. But yeah, we look forward to that, and we are the fall podcast will be executive producers on that project and be looking to greenlight any sort of scripts that come our way. So hit us in the inbox if you're a script writer, and let's knock this out. We'll want to be involved, but we'll just give very positive notes. We're not going to be asking for full rewrites. So let's get this done. Any directors that are interested, cinematographers, let's also chat.
You're not
This-
interested in the role?
No. If I'm going to be in it, if I'm going to be acting, I'm going to be in front of the camera. And that'll be great. But then once it reaches a certain age point, then I just slowly transform into Ewan McGregor, which I think, I'm pretty closely physically resembling Ewan McGregor as well. So I think this is going to be just fine.
Absolutely.
Okay. So thanks for hanging with us, and we are the fall
We are the best.
radio transmission.